Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I don't have the lyrics up. I don't
know the next
something
7
about
words.
something about Gandhi, I feel like. And Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
rhymes.
that's the next hook.
Or Gandhi. The cult
I'll
of
tell you one and one makes 3.
Is this?
Oh, the cult of personality.
Mama.
Just commit to me that that's our intro before I send this over to Zach.
Dude, you already
Is that
sent
what
it
you
over.
want?
You want me to send it to Zach?
No.
You want him?
I'm me, not you.
Me?
Can't be him.
Him?
Not him.
They don't even see who he is.
It's me.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it to Zach if that's the intro you guys want to go with.
Sure,
Now
whatever.
that you squeezed your little bit in, yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, you know I can't not be a part of it. All right, Zach, hit the intro, please. Do you think he did? Hey guys, and welcome back to the Too Heavy Wrestling Podcast. On this episode, you have myself, we have Clayton, and we have Eddie ready to talk about this week in wrestling. First off, thanks for holding down the fort while I was gone last week.
Ah,
I was
For you.
I was busy. I was doing stuff.
playing Minecraft.
I knocked something off my bucket list last week. I did easily one of the most important things in my life that I will ever do.
Nobody cares about you spending money on Roblox.
And
Yeah,
Zach,
summer sales event's a pretty cool place to go.
Zach's gonna post a picture of it right now. That's right. I sat in the DeLorean from Back to the Future Part 2. How crazy is that?
They have the DeLorean at the Kia summer sales event.
Yeah. And I got to
Told
sit
you.
it. I got to sit in it. And I got engaged, whatever. But I got to sit in the DeLorean from Back to the Future Part 2. It had the Mr. Fusion and everything. It was signed by Christopher Lloyd. Zach, make sure you put up the picture on the part that I'm talking about. But we're not here to talk about one of the greatest trilogies of all time. We're here to talk about wrestling, specifically all the stuff that happened last week. Eddie, what are we going to be talking about this week?
We're gonna be talking about Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown.
Clayton, what are we going to be talking about this week?
We're going to be talking about the weekly episodic content that runs 3 hours on Mondays and 2 hours on Fridays.
No one wants to get
Soon
specific.
to be 3 hours on Fridays.
Okay. Actually, that's a really good place to start. Let's talk about that rumor for a second. A third hour on SmackDown? Who's that for? Is that for you?
Can't be for me.
Is it for you?
Not
Do
me.
you want that?
Maybe him?
Because I don't want it. He doesn't care.
Oh, he doesn't
They
care.
don't even know who he is.
Him? Them?
Them.
No, them.
No, them. They
Yeah.
don't know who he is.
Oh, no, but do they want the weekly 3 hour episodic television
Let
show?
us know in the comments what you think the third hour of SmackDown is going to be like, and if you want it or not. I don't want it. Do you want it?
I mean, they have the talent to do it. So
Yeah.
I'm technically, it makes it to where you can fit more talent into the show. So yes, but their plans also make it a little confusing because they want to cut a bunch of people. So why would they make it 3 hours?
Yeah.
There's already current 7 hours of wrestling just with WWE a week that I don't keep up with for a full 7 hours of the content presented. I have no interest of an additional hour of SmackDown, whether it stays on Fridays, whether it goes to Thursdays, whether it's moved to Saturday nights on the fucking moon. I don't care.
I mean, 8 hours because WWE Superstars on Hulu.
Shut
up,
Oh,
Eddie.
well, then it's like 14 hours because of all of the
NXT
A.
level up. So
Well, there's also all of the A&E content that they're showing with like Superstar Vault or whatever all that is.
I'm putting that in like its own like little side bucket of additional content to be absorbed.
Yeah.
But
But just the wrestling content, yeah.
there's
Well,
already too much, and there's not enough wrestling within said wrestling content, WWE specific, that I'm not interested in an extra hour on SmackDown.
so there's that extra hour in SmackDown, but there's also talk about the third hour of Raw being more adult oriented. Have you guys seen that rumor too?
Yes, I have seen that rumor.
Yeah, so hour 1 and 2 of Raw are going to be normal, like PG or PG-14 or whatever. And then the last hour from 9 to 10, our time, is going to be like more edgy. That's probably where they'll blade or something. Like it's like the third hour of Raw is supposed to get raunchy.
Don't watch past 9, kids. It's gonna get a little edgy.
It's gonna get a little too hot for TV.
Dude, that's so stupid. Like, make one show raunchy and then the other not raunchy, if anything.
Also, is SmackDown going to stay on Fox?
No.
Where do you think it's going to go?
It's getting packaged with something for streaming.
Yeah.
Because unlike Fox, who's trying to really fill a time slot on a Friday with content that they don't have to produce.
Yeah.
It's just passive income after Amazon pays who.
Yeah.
Not Amazon specifically, but whoever ends up buying the streaming rights for the conglomerate. Like, I think Raw will always stay on USA because USA just loves the content, and by all means. I don't think SmackDown's staying on Fox, and I don't think the WWE Network is going to stay with Peacock once that deal is up. And they're going to sell the entire package, Raw and NXT excluded to USA aside, to somebody for the whole thing.
Well, and what's crazy is the UFC WWE merger with that company. I forgot they came out with the name of the company. I forgot it was something whale or something. But what? That's the name of it. It has whale in it, I'm pretty sure. But they want to also get rid of the whole pay-per-views or premium live events included with the network. They want to get back to charging per pay-per-view. Which means we're going to have to meet up for pay-per-views again so that we could group up money just to watch them.
They want somebody, that conglomerate under Endeavor wants somebody to give them a bucket load of money on like a 5-year deal, which is what happened when ESPN paid, I want to say like a little over $500 million for every UFC pay-per-view for a 5-year period. And they just slowly increase the prices year over year to the point now that a UFC pay-per-view is like $75.
I mean, in all honesty, we knew there'd be perks for certain people having the company or buying the company.
Yeah.
And if we would have gotten Amazon, it probably would have done the same thing, if we're going to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they like to charge you for as much as they possibly can. Disney probably would have been the best bet, if we're going to be honest, because they probably would have included it within
just the Disney network.
Yeah, they probably would have done
Plus, that's what it's called. It's called Disney Plus.
If Saudi Arabia bought it, we don't know what would have happened with that.
I think no matter what happens, we can all take a collective relief breath that that's not what the outcome was.
People in combat sport entertainment bought a combat sport company.
Yeah.
We can be happy about that.
Yeah. I'm not disappointed with who got it, but
yeah.
All right. Well, extra hours and raunchy hours aside, I mean, take us through Monday Night Raw, Eddie. What happened on Monday Night Raw that's worth talking about?
Great match between Gunther and Kevin Owens. Showed both can wrestle, and also a really good turnout, even though it was a roll-up victory. I think that was a good way to end that matchup. Like, you had
they both look strong.
Yeah, great heavy-hitting matchup. I think this leads to a tag title match with Imperium, maybe at Money in the Bank. I think that'd be a good way to put it. Like,
I could see them pulling the trigger on that.
Also, another thing, like, I like certain layouts of certain pay-per-views, but I think we need to get back to the way of let's involve every title at the pay-per-views. It's a great way to do it. You can't have Night of Champions without having every championship involved, in my opinion.
They just did, though, didn't they?
You had world champion didn't defend his world championship, but he went for the tag titles. So
and they freaking lost to the guys.
There's another belt. There's another belt.
It's
kind of somewhat important, seeing as how it has United States in its name.
Yeah, wonder why they left that one out.
It's probably because the dude who holds it is a loser in general.
Let's hope that's the worst of it. But yeah, so yeah, I would say overall right now, one of the most entertaining non-storyline things happening, something that's just been cultivating week over week, is this whole Kevin Owens has a very short fuse for his temper. Week over week, both on Raw and SmackDown, we've been seeing the whole like You broke the unwritten rule. Why are they out here? No one called you out. Like this whole like Sami Zayn having to rein in Kevin Owens from his temper. That's probably one of the most entertaining things right now for me.
Getting mad that I don't even know his name. I remember it was Fabian Eichner. I'm just completely
Giovanni.
Yeah, Vinci.
Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser,
Mhm.
Imperium.
Sure. So them
Just no sold it. That's fine.
getting mad at that. One, he's bald, I guess.
Bald. Well, they weren't mad that he was bald.
He doesn't talk.
They were mad
but
that
then
he doesn't
Kevin
talk.
Owens on commentary was mad that he was bald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, don't blame him.
Yeah,
Gotta be
bald
mad
people
at something.
Suck.
Yeah, they do. They're the worst. But
Sorry, Dad. Go on.
whatever. So
My
yeah,
dad's bald.
we're getting like we know Kevin Owens knows how to sell any single thing in the damn world, and he's fantastic at it. Man is an actor. He's fantastic at it, and he's doing a great job adding some more bulk to his character with having this short fuse, which is great. We'll talk a little bit more about it on the SmackDown side of things, but on Raw, great feud overall. Liking everything that they're doing, and I don't know where Gunther's going to go with this. Is Riddle? Where's Riddle?
So Riddle actually did have a backstage interview talking more about Imperium, and Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci kind of confronted him, and Riddle ended up putting him in like an ankle lock or something.
Okay, so hopefully Gunther against Riddle. That'd be a good match.
Yeah, I think that's what we're leaning towards more for Money in the Bank right now.
Beautiful. I like that.
So I actually the reason why I like the whole Kevin Owens thing right now, it just is funny and entertaining, but also it's finally giving him, and not that he didn't have any of it, but it seemed very much like for a while there, Kevin Owens was an accessory to this story with Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'll say officially, whether it's true or not, now that we're officially Sami and Kevin are removed from the Bloodline story, minus a couple backstage segments here or there, they're not going to have any more matches. But like now that they're removed, it's time to make sure that Kevin is at the same level of Sami, and I think this is a great way of doing it.
Absolutely.
So
get him on the right track. Also, some Money in the Bank qualifiers happened. Some or one. I'm only thinking of one off the top of my head.
Which was?
Becky beat someone. That's all I care about.
Yeah. There was a whole Zoe Stark and Trish thing.
Sonya Deville,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and there was some interference, but Becky still came out on top.
Yeah, because Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Look, Chelsea's doing her job. This is what she wanted. That's the best thing about it. That she wanted to do what she's doing right now. She wanted this
Karen gimmick, yeah.
So don't get like I know a bunch of people are like, oh, you should like treat her like she wants to or deserves to be treated. This is what she wanted. This is exactly what she wanted. 100%.
I don't think she has full creative control over this character right now, but she's certainly being consulted about it.
Yeah, but this is what she pitched to Triple H. Triple H is like, yeah, sure, get over here. And then so be it. It's working for
her. 100%.
I think pairing her with Sonya Deville, I'm kind of over Sonya Deville in general. Like as a wrestler Sonya Deville.
Yeah. Did you like her more in her authority role?
Did a good job with it.
I thought she did a great job.
Yeah. I think the feud that she had with Naomi worked. But I don't know how you can put her back in that spotlight now. So they need to figure out something with her.
What are you looking up, Clayton?
Seeing if there was any background on Cody and Brock.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rumored just as one that hasn't been seen in a while, but not.
Yeah. It's not a dog collar match like Cody wanted. Yeah.
Not that, but I'm curious.
I'm pulling up the results, so
I'm sure we'll
everything.
find out over the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Hope we would know now, but.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, actually, Seth and Finn and Damian Priest. We need to talk about all that.
Oh, yeah, the whole World Heavyweight Championship thing.
Ooh, that promo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Clayton. Why don't you take us through that a little bit?
He had Seth come out, Damian Priest come out, because I believe Seth was supposed to be. Seth had decided he was going to be the preceding week that he was going to be a fighting champion. Damian Priest called him out on social media, accepted.
Yeah.
that led to this promo before Damian and Seth's match at night. For me, I don't remember all the particulars of it, but I loved Seth's burn on Finn, saying like,
Yeah.
whatever my title reign's gonna end up being, it's gonna be longer than his.
100%.
Yeah,
In referencing to Finn being a
24
one-day
hour
title
champ,
holder.
Yeah. Well, and what was really interesting about Seth Rollins, so Seth Rollins decided to do the whole open challenge to defend his title on Monday Night Raw. Did you guys hear about when the last time the world title was defended on Raw?
Mm-mm.
It was when Big E was champ. That's how long it's been since a world title was defended on Raw, was when Big E decided to defend it.
Wow.
So
out there every week, might as well.
yeah, so long overdue. Speedy recovery to Big E. Hopefully he's back sometime this year.
Or open challenge. I like open challenges, and I like the system. It puts people out there who don't get the spotlight that they may deserve. I think Damian Priest is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
He recently did with Backlash, which worked out really well in his favor, and I think he deserves a reward such as maybe a title match.
Well,
Not
and
excluding this.
we can't talk about that promo without talking about what happened between Finn and Damian. You know what I mean? Like the slight dissension in the Judgment Day right now.
Like, I can't see them splitting right now. I think maybe
I don't want to see him split.
No, they don't need to split. Like, Judgment Day is working really well. I think keep what you have. It's working. You're doing really well. Finn's obviously going to be the next challenger, which really works in the storyline.
Finn's also the odd man.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
I don't, like, as a complete faction, no, but I see Finn getting put out to pasture eventually.
I would, and it's ironic because Finn is the one who replaced Edge. So it would actually make the most sense for that to be the case because you have your solidifying figures of Rhea and Damian, and obviously Dominic as a byproduct of Rhea being like the core solid foundation of it, and almost Bullet Club-esque picking out leaders and getting new leaders and keeping the core group the same.
Now, a little rumor I heard is they may want to put... Well, actually, there was a little bit of a teaser with Jordan Devlin and Balor talking over the past couple weeks. And then I also saw something about maybe calling up Cora Jade, which I don't want. I actually don't want that at all.
Mm-mm.
I would like Cora. I think the Cora Jade character and Cora Jade herself would fit in well with the Judgment Day, but not next to Rhea Ripley.
She needs to be a leader in her own faction.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
100%.
I would specifically want her to be the leader of a faction that is like mixed, like this one is, with both men and women. I don't want her to be the leader of just a 3-woman, like a Damage Control. I don't see that working. But I do see, like, if she wanted to take over Judgment Day, she probably could. I just don't think that would be something that Rhea Ripley would.
Yeah. What was the name of Ali's faction that he had? Pandemic.
Oh,
Retribution.
Retribution.
Yes.
That would have worked pretty well if they, and I hate to say this about Mustafa Ali, but like if they literally had anyone else but Mustafa Ali as the leader.
Don't. Here's the problem with everything that was Retribution. A, the characters were from like 1999. They were completely outdated characters. B, they were predicated on that like Monday Night Raw After Dark or whatever, that like ropeless MMA thing they tried to do that was really stupid. And also the way that they introduced Ali as the leader of Retribution was through a hacker gimmick that made no sense compared to the rest of the group. Like they took a hacker and made him the leader of a totalitarian like dust. What's that movie? Mad Max, like a Mad Max type group. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, I got
that's the important thing.
Yeah,
the pieces that they had though worked for what they were trying to do. Like honestly, Dijakovic, is he Dijak now?
He's Dijak.
He's Dijak in NXT. He's basically getting the run he should have had the first time around.
Yeah, but give him like I always talk so very highly about Wesley, but I think Dijak should have taken the title off him. I think that would have been a good rebound for him.
I think so too.
Wesley's having, I think he may have, has he held the title for a year now?
Let's say yes.
Close to, if not.
So he's doing everything he needs to do. Like if he gets called up to the main roster soon, he's done everything he needs to in order to do that. I would like to still see him bring back Nash Carter,
Something like that.
give us some rascals. But moving on to another match that I want to talk about, because we had Caden Carter and Katana Chance debut.
Yep.
And had a very impressive outing against Ronda and Shayna.
Yep.
Which I think for their debut, they did everything that they needed to do to show the universe what, like, but at the same time, they're not going to win against with them as the champions. There's no way.
Well, and was it on Raw or SmackDown that we had the challenge for the unification match?
That was SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Okay, so we'll get to that a little bit more on SmackDown, but I'm really glad the match happened overall. It was a really good match.
Right. Absolutely. And kind of moving on to the next point, there's not a lot to touch on, but they looked very impressive. Ricochet versus Shinsuke and a no contest because of Bronson Reed.
Yeah. Which I think was really good for Ricochet because he's been putting over a lot of people lately. And granted, he did win. Like he won his Money in the Bank qualifier match, right?
Right.
Yep.
So that was good for him. But other than that, I mean, he's been putting over a ton of people lately. And now we could touch on this too. Braun Strowman's injury, Ricochet's on his own now because Braun Strowman just had a fusion surgery.
Yep. Another neck fusion.
Yeah, another neck fusion, and he lost 15% of the function of one of his legs right now. He's partially paralyzed in a leg because of it. So, yeah.
Honestly, Ricochet needs to be on TV. That's perfectly fine. If he's not going for a mid-card title, I think, putting him in the Money Bank was the best thing. There's no way he wouldn't have gotten put in the bank anyway. Like, regardless of if he's on TV or not on TV, they're going to find a way to utilize him in that match.
Right.
I think this kind of tells us Bronson Reed may be in Money in the Bank now.
Maybe.
By having this no contest. No one else is qualified, but there's still 2 more spots on the Raw side at least.
Yeah, we could see it happen, I'm sure.
Right. So, honestly, I know you're over Bronson.
Not over. I just don't want him in the match.
Yeah.
That's okay.
There's always at least a one spot for a big guy like that. And Otis isn't in the match. So might as well put Bronson in there.
Like I said on the previous episode for the podcast, like, I think you could take what Bronson, break that up across.
Yeah.
Get the same element.
But
if he's not tsunamiing somebody through a ladder that's propped up between the announce table and the ring,
yeah.
Why is he in the match?
Well,
he's not going to win.
He's probably going to do that.
I don't want him to do that because I'm afraid for the person hands on.
What, Ricochet?
God.
Yeah, he's going to kill. I mean, yeah, Ricochet is going to die during the match, but
they're going to execute Ricochet in front of Samantha. Got it.
Yep, 100%.
Dude, it's like there was an episode, because we were talking about it and it's on my head, we were talking about Dark Side of the Ring. I remember someone saying in that, if it looks like it was painful, it probably was.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed's tsunami is the definition of that. Like, you can,
100%.
he is full force landing his entire, like, you can put your knees and arms out.
I was going to say,
like,
even if he gets the knees and arms down, that's
a large man falling through.
Yeah.
And you can see him, like, once he does land, like, he's kind of like knees and arms out, but then he, like, pushes those things back too, man.
Well, it always reminded me of Yokozuna's Banzai drop. Have you ever seen Yokozuna Banzai drop someone? It's because there are a couple times where he does it where he kind of lands on his feet and then squats. There are other times where he lets go of everything and lands ass first on someone's chest. And it's devastating.
Vader was the perfect example of he does not care about anybody's safety. He just wants it to look as real as possible. Basically kill someone to make himself look better. Wrong time for him being in WWE.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, what anything else from Raw that we need to really touch up on? Because
Zoe Stark beat Natalya.
Oh yeah, okay.
Meh.
Yeah, meh.
Because really, I think SmackDown was the better show this week anyway.
Yeah. I mean, good parts to Raw, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, we can move to SmackDown.
All right, so SmackDown has the whole bloodline thing going on. Does it kick off with Solo and Heyman in the ring first, or is Jay in the ring first? I don't remember.
Solo and Heyman come out, and right as Heyman goes to say something, then Jay's music hits.
Yeah.
Jay comes down to the ring. Jay starts laying into Solo. You can't stab your brothers in the back. Doesn't know if he'll ever be able to give Solo. And then Holly Boy puts on his sycophant master manipulator hat. And it's like, oh, the tribal chief, paraphrasing, the tribal chief believes in you. And the way you set Jimmy's the one who broke the mold because he knows what the situation is. Roman Reigns is basically designating you, Jey Uso, to be the next tribal chief, and you're gonna prove that by beating Austin Theory for the United States Championship.
Yeah, and that was how they decided to announce the title match.
Yes,
we did not know that title match was happening. I got there.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
So Jay's like, okay, all right, and then Heyman sticks his hand out to shake. And I love this. Jay just goes, "I'll get back to you on that." Drops the mic, walks out the ring.
And that was sprinkled throughout the whole night. They keep going back to the Bloodline story. And that's why Smackdown is the better of the two shows right now, is because they do a really good job of letting the Bloodline storyline bleed throughout the entire show, but also letting us pay 100% attention to everything that's going on when they're not there.
Definitely.
Because one of my biggest gripes of and I know you'll remember this. This is from when you first started watching. JR and the King are one of the best pairs of commentators ever. But you would be in the middle of like a Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels match, and in the middle of that match he'd be like, and don't forget, Triple H, the World Heavyweight Champion, is gonna be defending blah 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 blah, and would talk about that main event for like 2 minutes. Him and Jerry would go back and forth.
Yep.
While a different match is going on, Jerry would chime in and be like, well, Triple H is gonna win, the other person doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell, puppies, blah blah blah. And like just puppies. I really like that they got away from that. And that
very much
like they let the stories be front and center while interweaving the main story in and out of the show, but not letting it deter from the other stories happening.
Well, it was top. Like I think there were Evolution, Shawn, rest of like maybe 5-6 other people. They didn't really, unless Randy Orton or Edge held that Intercontinental title, they didn't really care.
Yeah, 100%.
Tag titles didn't matter unless Evolution had them. Women's title didn't matter.
Yeah.
In that programming whatsoever. Like, you had a select number of guys, and the fans didn't care either because JR and King didn't care.
Yeah. 100%.
That's kind of how it was. So having this and what we're having with the Bloodline is good. It's going to be really weird when the Bloodline is no longer a thing.
When it's just Roman and Solo.
Oh, even past that, looking into the future, it's like, what are they going to do?
Like, what is the main story going to be?
Yeah.
It'll have to be the fallout of, because the cool part is for the first couple months after all of this is said and done, they can reference the Bloodline and be like, well, before the Bloodline disbanded, this is what the show was like. Kind of have like a post Bloodline set of weeks or months, and then and then they'll have to figure out a new story for us to care about.
Right.
By then.
I'm happy with where we're at with the storyline. Once it goes away, I'm going to be excited to see what happens. But moving on to the next point, going over the Money in the Bank qualifiers, Mustafa Ali versus Santos. Santos finally wins.
Right? That was someone else who needed a win.
And you could see the whole crowd actually pop really well for Santos winning.
Yeah. Because who did he beat?
Mustafa Ali.
Someone else who a lot of people thought were going to be in the match because he could sell.
Yeah, definitely.
Others, so
he's a really good wrestler. The funny thing, it even looked like Ray was surprised during the match.
Yeah.
That was another big thing. But got the justice. Definitely not going to win. If he does, that'll be the biggest swerve of all time, which I don't think happened whatsoever. If anything, if you're going to have someone from the LWO win, it would have been Ray. But I think they're finally going to say, let's give Ray a break after all the crap he's been through.
Yeah.
So, kind of happy with that. On to the next one. Yeah, let's talk a little more about Ronda and Shayna interrupting Alba Fire Isla Dawn.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a unification match for all of the NXT women's tag, or not NXT, but all of the women's tag team belts.
Like, this is one of those things where you're pushing Isla Dawn and Alba Fire really well.
Yeah.
I think you make that SmackDown women's tag titles because those are two dominant tag teams. If you have Ronda and Shayna lose, all of that was for nothing, in my opinion.
I agree.
100%.
Like, you can't do all that.
The only reason I agree with them unifying those belts is that the original idea of the women's tag team belts was that they would be defended on all 3 shows anyway.
Right.
So when they came out with the NXT women's tag team belts, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, and it's not that I disagreed with that decision, because ultimately the NXT women's tag team division was way better than the WWE women's tag team division anyway. So ultimately I ended up being okay with that decision, but up front I very much was like, this does not make sense.
All those people got called up anyways. Like, 3 NXT tag teams once Alba Fire and Isla Dawn got called up. Them, Kaden and Anna, they got called up, and Tasha Price, if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
I completely forgot what her character's name is in NXT, but they split up essentially.
Yeah.
So they are no longer a team. No reason to have NXT women's tag titles anymore.
Yeah.
And it seems like everyone in NXT is even going for Tiffany Stratton's title because they just had a ginormous battle royal.
Yeah, I
with Dana Brooke.
That. Yeah, that was, what, good for her too. If they could do for Dana Brooke what they did for Mandy Rose, I think that would be, because Dana Brooke is not a bad wrestler.
She was great.
Yeah,
she did everything she had to.
I think they could do for Dana Brooke what they did for Mandy Rose and completely reinvent her character, give her a monster, whether it's face or heel, I don't really care. Just give her a push. You can put a faction behind her if they want to, but like if they could do for her what they did for Mandy Rose, that would be really cool, because I like Dana Brooke and I think she deserves better.
Definitely.
Especially after that kid shunned her.
Yeah.
On to the next one though. We got Bayley against Mia Yim.
My irritation is that all these qualifying matches outside of this one and following it got 7+ minutes to work with.
Yeah.
It's about a 2-minute match.
This one and the next one are about 2-minute matches.
And Mia Yim just kind of there for the OC.
Yeah.
Like the qualifying match within of itself didn't matter for her. Like, truly didn't matter, because Bayley had a little thing with AJ sitting on commentary, and then they go back in, the match is over. Then Scarlett and Karrion come out to do something with AJ.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do anything with Scarlett and Mia Yim as a part of this whatever, but
no, it was just to push the Cross and Styles.
I just didn't like it. Easily the weakest point of the night for me.
I'm genuinely surprised that not one but 2 women's matches got under 2 minutes, because WWE for a long time has been really good about that.
Right.
It makes me think Vince maybe had something to do.
Well, Mia Yim, why bring her into OC? Why bring her back in WWE? Like, she was pretty over in NXT. Brought her up for a cup of coffee for Retribution.
Yeah.
Gets released. Kills it on the Indies. Comes back.
Had a stint in Impact, right?
Yeah. A good stint in Impact. It wasn't too long because they gave her the call. And then to nothing.
Well, and I said this when she first got called up. Or not called up, but returned. I was really bothered at how they returned her, because they had her return as this counterpart to Rhea Ripley for the OC when the OC was against the Judgment Day. But while that was happening, all the rumors started to swirl around Rhea and the Royal Rumble and the main event win at WrestleMania. So why did they bring in Mia Yim to be this counter to Rhea, who we assume would actually be successful at that, when Rhea's about to get this monster push? And that's exactly what happened, except everyone forgot that that's what Mia Yim was for, was she was brought back specifically as a counter to Rhea Ripley, and she fell by the wayside again. They also can't get her name right week over week. She comes out and she's either Mia Yim or she's Michin or she's Micha Yim or she's Mia Michin Yim. Like, they do not know what her name is.
In my opinion, if they wanted to do what they did with her, she should have been the last person eliminated.
Yeah, and that would have been like that would have made sense from a story perspective, because it would be like, oh, Rhea dominated the person who was supposed to counter her and call it a day. But no. Granted, I'm not upset with the finish of that Royal Rumble. I think the 1 and 2 thing was really cool.
Yeah, it was good
with Liv Morgan. But yes, that would have done something more for Mia Yim.
Rather put Mia Yim in the 2 spot. I think that would have been better. Asuka, where she got eliminated, I thought that worked.
Yeah.
Mia Yim getting the miss would have worked pretty well too.
Yeah.
I think that all would have worked really well. Mia Yim is a very good athlete and a very good competitor. It would have worked well for her if they did something with her, but having her lose in 2 minutes. Now, I'm not mad at the AJ Karrion Kross thing. I like Karrion Kross. I think this is a great way to do this, and I think Karrion Kross needs to win.
Yeah, he needs a win at this point.
Needs to getting Scarlett involved, and the way she got involved in too were awesome. Good. You're over it. Yeah, I'm not.
I had too many shots.
Karrion Kross?
Yeah.
He hasn't. It's not that he's had too many shots. It's the fact that they don't. Triple H brought him in, believed in him being this main event caliber player, and then Triple H is like, "Oh yeah, you're still here, dude."
Well, the other thing is when he returned. Not when he got called up, because when he got called up and he had that weird barbarian sex dungeon thing, that was crazy. That was stupid. But when he came back and he was coming back in the middle of the Roman Reigns and Drew feud, and it looked like he was going to get inserted into the main event right away, I was hyped. I was like, I believe this.
You had him undefeated in NXT, go up to Raw for 1 match, still undefeated, and then had him lose to Jeff Hardy, who keeps losing the weeks before. That made zero,
Yeah, it was just bad booking. Karrion Kross needs a win at this point.
Right.
If he doesn't win this, I will also give up on him.
I can't.
I'm
it's
done.
So hard for me to give up on him. He was
and AJ can afford the loss.
Right. His work before coming over to NXT in the first place was so good, in my opinion, and then you had this.
I disagree in the fact that AJ could afford a loss. AJ just wrestled in the opening heavyweight.
Yeah.
Then follow that up with Karrion Kross.
Well, here's the thing, because we talked about this. They're doing trilogies right now.
Right.
If you do a trilogy with Karrion and AJ, if AJ loses the feud to Karrion but still takes one of those 3 matches clean, he's fine.
They're not going to do a trilogy with them. I just can't see that.
I'm literally falling asleep at the suggestion of those 2 matches.
Yeah.
I think that's a one and done.
Which is crazy, because there's an alternate universe where those 3 matches were the main events.
Prince money.
Yeah.
Right
it's
now,
not this one.
As currently constructed,
I agree. I as upset as that makes me, I do agree. I'm good on that trilogy too, honestly. I don't need it. Not for the way it's been built now. If they wanna go back to the drawing board, hell, put a mid-card title in there. Give one of those 2 the US belt.
Karrion needs that.
And then have them feud over it and have Karrion go over on AJ then. That's way better than just the nothing they're fighting for right now.
I could talk about Karrion all day. But we also want to talk about a new WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah.
No, you mean the WWE Championship from a decade ago that now has a gold plate and a white strap? That WWE Championship that we're giving to the women?
Well, this is the let's see. You have the if we start all the way back from when The Rock debuted his belt, because it's similar enough. You have The Rock's belt, then Brock brought in that undisputed belt. Then we have the red strap universal, then the blue strap universal. And the both women's belts and Roman's undisputed belt. Now with Asuka's belt, that's the 8th belt with that design, and there's a chance I forgot one. Like, that same belt design It's not only is it crazy that that's the 8th one I could come up with off the top of my head, but only one of them, the very first one, is kind of questionable about whether or not it fits. Because it's the same shape with a slightly different design.
Yep.
The rest of them are the exact same.
Right. I think this is destined for Rhea to have one that looks exactly like Seth's title.
Yeah, there's people saying that Rhea is going to get a women's heavyweight championship.
The only good thing that comes from this is at least they are separating the brands in some way and trying to make them unique, in my opinion.
As though giving something the tagline name of the show that it's on plus the title name.
I was going to say, but that got
like,
muddy a couple times over the last couple years.
Look, you can't... okay, unique in the sense that they're not just changing the color of the strap. I will, like... I'm very happy about that. Make it look somewhat unique to the show. That brand supremacy means something with those titles separated. Please let this, like, somehow they're setting it up very well to where at Survivor Series it could be women's WWE World Champion against whatever you want to call
Women's World Heavyweight Championship, something like that. So this is the second belt to now. You have Roman's undisputed belt and the women's.
Right.
With the gold-plated background. How do we feel about that?
Fine. I would have loved it if that was the original design introduced.
Yeah.
But since it's not, okay. I don't hate it.
It's gold for the sake of being gold.
I just think, like, look, it's fine. It's more unique than the belt she had. I will give it that. But I think we're to the point where we need to put some discrepancies on the, like, make them unique and, like, don't make it look like the exact same thing. I agree with the sense that it doesn't look like Raw's titles. I like that. But make every belt unique. Make every belt mean something.
Like the Intercontinental in the United States.
Right.
I agree. I think the belts need to be individualistic.
The tag belts for both shows, once that does happen, need to look different from each other. They can't look the same. Like,
do you think they're gonna have do you think there's gonna be a Raw and a SmackDown men's tag team belt, or do you think they're gonna have one men's tag team titles that bounce between two shows? I really
hope they have two different ones, because you have so many tag teams in general. Like,
do you just take the current belts we have now and split them back up, or do you do what they did for Roman,
unify it,
give Sami and Kevin a unified championship, an undisputed,
right,
and then have another new WWE tag team champion on SmackDown?
I think that makes the most
second option.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm just like Asuka needs something for her. Like, she probably holds the most prestige with that belt. Sure, throw Charlotte in the mix, whatever. Have her lose these.
If Charlotte goes over on Asuka, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Get ready to lose your mind.
Shut up.
And then maybe only way is if Charlotte loses that title immediately after, and then goes away for a while
to a cash in or something.
Yeah, let's have her come back for a few weeks, lose, go away for another few months.
Ugh.
Late breaking news at the time of this episode. There will be, this is at a live event, so not on TV, but there will be a Father's Day street fight between Ray and Dominic.
A Father's Day street fight?
Yes, that is what
At a live event?
Yes.
I don't have to have it forced down my throat?
No.
Okay, well, that's good.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. All right. Anything else happen on SmackDown? I mean,
probably plenty more.
So the one thing, I don't know if it's next or not, but the whole backstage segment with Sami and Jay, that was cool.
It was.
And what really brought that home? Because a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's going to be dissension between Kevin and Sami because Sami won't leave the bloodline alone." They addressed that with the backstage segment with all the tag teams by the first thing Kevin did when he walked up to Sami was say, "Did you talk to him?" So Kevin is aware of what Sami was doing when talking to Jay. So they kind of addressed that a little bit. That made me happy because, to be honest, even after they lose the tag belts, I just don't want Sami versus Kevin. I'm good. I'm not saying I don't ever want to see it again, but I'm saying let's save that for some time later.
I think that's gonna be the culmination. KO's aggression gimmick, if you will.
That he'll push or kick Sammy or something.
He's gonna stunner Sammy in a fit of rage when they lose those belts. They'll patch it up immediately, but Sammy is going to eat a stunner when they lose those belts.
If they patch up immediately and Sammy comes from a place of understanding and Kevin apologizes and they both stay faces and friends, I'm cool with it because honestly, that's kind of funny.
Dude, like, okay. Yeah, no Kevin and Sammy fights. I don't need any of that. We're fine. Having them what they kind of could have been all along, which is best friends.
Yeah.
That works perfectly. Like, we're fine with that. Riddle and Randy's little thing that they had not too long ago, perfect with that. I didn't think it'd work, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah.
So I want to move on to a few more matches because then we're going to talk about Theory and Jay and all of the culmination of that. Pete Dunne beats Baron Corbin.
That one, granted, there was a lot of NXT shenanigans because of that, but I was genuinely surprised at that outcome.
I like the fact that current NXT champion in the and like was featured, however briefly, in that match. It makes NXT feel similar to Black and Gold NXT, where it's its own standalone brand, not strictly the minor league.
I could see them gearing up for another NXT invasion for Survivor Series.
I'd be very happy with
this
that.
Current version of the roster. If Braun Breaker is still in NXT by the time that comes around, they will 100% do it, and everyone will fall in line behind Braun Breaker, even if he's not the champ.
Braun Breaker will be the Keith Lee of what they have now.
Exactly.
I think over the past few months, we've been like, I'm not sure about this NXT. I don't think they have enough star power. They've been giving a lot of people a lot more opportunity, which has given them plenty more to work with.
100%.
Bringing Dragon Lee to NXT has helped with that. Bringing back people such as Noam Dar. I can talk about NXT all day. I don't watch it as religiously as I did with Black and Gold. Still there.
Yeah.
Nathan Frazier, who was Seth Rollins' protege, who he kind of helped breed, doing great things. Wesley doing great things. Dijak being there. And then maybe Baron Corbin and Mustafa Ali are going to be full-time people there. We don't know. I don't think that'll happen I really don't think that will happen, but whatever it may be, it's working really well. But Pete Dunne finally getting something. I'm so happy about that. Hopefully he has some really good spots, which knowing Pete Dunne, that probably will be the case in the Money in the Bank. So glad about that. Io and Shotzi, Io won.
Yeah.
Whatever.
In under 2 minutes again.
Happy Io did win. I'm a very big Io fan. Shotzi, kind of one of those people where I'm over it at this very point. You don't have to do too much. Or with Shotzi, rather.
Her and her tag team with Raquel fizzled.
Just like she's a good wrestler, but okay, actually, you go ahead.
He just has a distinct lack of charisma.
He does. I agree.
It's not like, it's not passive in the sense, like, for example, Austin Theory as a heel.
Yeah.
Austin Theory as a heel has no charisma, but it's passive and they're like still figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
With Shotzi, how Shotzi is presented, the types of matches that Shotzi is allowed to work, how she's featured in those matches, it is in your face how much charisma she does not have.
It's crazy to me that the person with the tank gimmick who has a tank during her entrance is being called the person that doesn't have charisma, and yet somehow I believe it. And
I'll tell you exactly where it started. The second the tank doesn't come out at WrestleMania, dead.
It's done.
I was dead before that.
Yeah.
But that added value, outside of ring work, mic work that Shotzi could bring, that makes you interested in her. Once you don't do it at WrestleMania, dead.
Once they made her heel, that was when, and then they brought her back as face again, and then she's just, I write her off.
Come on, send her back to NXT.
NXT would be fine, but don't have her win. Like, I think she's shown us enough. She was Indies. that's one of those people where I just didn't see the value in bringing them up or like bringing them to the main roster.
I agree.
Like, she may have done pretty well on the indies. Another example of that to me, where I knew as soon as he got signed, there was no way they'd do anything with him. As cool and great as he was, Austin Aries was one. I just had a hunch they would not do a single thing with him.
Yes, but I would say that has more to do with Austin Aries as a human.
I legitimately forget that Austin Aries was in NXT.
A lot of people do.
Was he ever in WWE? Did he go to Raw or SmackDown ever?
Cruiserweight,
okay.
Yeah. Like, it's just one of those. Austin Aries did have much more charisma than Shotzi Blackheart ever did. But, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, if you get called up, I know nothing is going to happen with you.
Yeah.
I know you are just going to get thrown to the wolves, whatever it may be. Kind of the same thing with Lio Rush, but Lio Rush capitalized on it. He kind of got a position where I guess kind of a dead end position where it's like, we're going to make you a manager. We're not going to have you wrestle. He owned it. Shotzi gets a tank. Could actually do a lot with said tank. Like, even if it's like a very minimal feud, could do so much with it. Lacks a lot. Just
100%.
Whatever.
All right, well, round out. What was the last thing?
Yep. Austin Theory versus Jey Uso for the U.S. title.
Match itself was pretty good, which you expect from those two. But the finish is really what most people are interested in.
Well, Jimmy did one thing he shouldn't have done, which is super kick the one guy he probably could have convinced to be on his side, besides his twin brother.
Yeah. Well, he went to go super kick Solo, and Solo moved. So he ended up nailing Jay. And of course, the one time that a super kick gets a 1-2-3 is during this match. Because, they just don't finish matches with super kicks anymore. But ultimately, it is Jimmy Uso who costs Jey Uso the United States Championship. Now, the interesting part was when Jimmy confronted Jay about it being an accident and all that stuff, Jay was not receptive to it. But he also was not receptive to Heyman and Solo in the aisle. He left on his own. So what was touted as the episode where Jey Uso finally makes a decision, now he's just as confused as ever on what he needs to do.
Now that you talked about it, now I'm confused about Sammy and Kevin and all of this involvement, because somehow, some way, let him separate them. Don't, okay, they can be on the show because they are tag team champions for SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
But leave them out of the storyline at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe give them a pointer. I feel like somehow they're going to get involved in the storyline again.
Well, it was very interesting because when Kevin asked Sammy, did you talk to him? And Sammy was like, yes. Kevin ended that conversation with, okay, did you get out of your system? Can we focus on these titles now? And Sammy was like, yes. We are about these titles.
Okay.
And then 5 tag teams show up. So I think we are pretty much, minus a backstage segment here or there, I think Sammy and Kevin are pretty well separated from the Bloodline storyline at this point, which is good because I genuinely do think they're going to get a pretty lengthy title run. I think they'll have it either until Survivor Series or through the year, and then something will happen where they'll both end up in the Rumble or something and kind of go back. I haven't really pieced that together yet in my mind of what I think is going to happen, but I think they'll go most of the rest of this year with those titles.
Okay, as long as they don't once, my opinion, Jay's going to turn on Jimmy.
Do you think the Usos are going to feud?
Somehow, some way, yes.
How do you segue that into a tag match between the Usos and Solo and Roman? Because that's what my end game is.
Well, my theory was it's going to be Roman against Jimmy.
When?
I feel like not Money in the Bank, maybe SummerSlam. The lead up into SummerSlam. That's where Jay turns on Jimmy. That's what I thought.
So then we have a Roman, Solo, and Jay bloodline with Jimmy. Okay, then you get your 6-man tag. You put Kevin and Sammy back into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how I think it's somehow going to lead out to be. Go on.
No, finish your thought.
I'm just over it, man. I don't need Sammy and Kevin jumping back into it. I do think Jimmy. I don't see it being a tag match. That's my thing. I don't see it being a tag match. I don't see Jay and Jimmy teaming up for that. I think Jay's like, I don't know what to do, which is the best way to put it, or best way to do it, because it's given results before.
Yeah.
Might as well do it one more time, see what happens. And you do it between brothers, then I think it makes for more cinema.
I agree. You have your Cain and Abel moment.
Yeah.
I specifically waited anything about the current topic, make a point. We haven't talked about the entire current topic, despite the fact that the undisputed Universal Champion is not involved in any way currently. United States Champion.
Who cares about the United States Champion?
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, no one cares about. Austin Theory was a placeholder for that.
All the more reason why that belt does not need to be on Austin Theory.
Yeah.
He was, for all intents and purposes, pinned during that match with no ref. And then when he does win, it's not even off of his stupid A-Town down.
Yeah.
It's off of somebody else's super kick, which doesn't finish matches. Like, for me, the bigger story is the complete lack of equity Austin Theory has with anything right now.
Austin Theory could go away and I could not care.
Pretty Deadly makes Austin Theory, or makes me want to see anything with Austin Theory in it, because I like Pretty Deadly.
Well, and that might already be done. Austin Theory was by himself during that whole time. Pretty Deadly wasn't involved at all. And Pretty Deadly was the first tag team to confront Kevin and Sammy during their backstage segment. Right. So there's every chance in the world that they just dropped that storyline completely.
It's like Austin Theory's the most... I've said multiple times I don't like him. I'm to the point where I don't like him. He just boils, like with Kevin, he just boils my blood, man.
Yeah.
For me, it's starting to get to the point where it's so directionless that there is going to be no way you take that title off of him that doesn't devalue the title.
Unless you have someone like Brock Lesnar just destroy him and take his first mid-card belt ever.
I'd rather see that.
I would too, honestly. Here's the deal. If Brock Lesnar does not wrestle at Money in the Bank, which it's looking like he might, that'll be the first PLE he doesn't wrestle at this year. Brock Lesnar has been a consistent part of this roster, even if it's not week over week. He has been a very consistent part of this roster this whole year. So honestly, if there was ever a time to give him a mid-card belt to elevate the status of that belt, it'd be now. Because here's the deal too. You have people in the mid-card like Bobby Lashley, like Drew McIntyre, that is believable to beat Brock. And then you can put the United States title right back on the show after Brock spends 2 or 3 months with it.
I'd rather take Nicholas winning that damn title, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm over it.
Look, if you do the math, Nicholas is probably going to be 18 or 19 here soon. He could re-debut.
It's just like, feel like I'm watching the same old thing all the time. A man who does, in fact, have a lack of charisma. Like, I'm just over him. I need something. Like, I'm not... I know a lot of people want Sheamus to win that title, and I understand why. I'm not the biggest fan of Sheamus winning that title.
I want him to win the Intercontinental title. I don't care about any other title he wins until he wins.
Yep, he deserves to be a Grand Slam.
But, like, dude, too much. You could have made it a little more enticing to watch him if he beat John Cena and kicked out of an AA and do all this stuff.
I'm to the point now. You can add just psychologically add in that John Cena hit him with an AA and Austin Theory kicked out of it.
Yeah,
I 100% guarantee you his booking post WrestleMania would not change.
You think so?
Our perception of him would not change. It's not just that his lack of charisma as a heel is bleeding through the screen every time he talks. A heel in wrestling, regardless of time era, should be able to get some type of crowd pop when he goes, oh yeah, Roman Reigns has been champion for da-da-da-da-da days, and I've been U.S. champion for da-da-da-da, like something. The crowd doesn't care. The people that he works with in programs don't care. They don't believe him, in the words of John Cena, so he could have kicked out an A at this point. He sucks.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch paint dry for like 8 hours. I'm like not even kidding at this point, dude. I'm saying it may seem like I'm over exaggerating this, as it seems like we both are over exaggerating this. But this guy has done nothing to make me like wrestling more.
And you know what, Austin Theory? When you see this, take our advice, bud. Walk away and come back after a year and see if people miss you. I don't know.
Give Dominic the title, dude. Like anything.
Yeah, give it to a real heel.
Yeah, give it to a real heel who cares and matters.
We're bordering on the worst title reign that I've like, and I say title reign meaning greater than
yeah,
bordering on easily the worst title reign, mid or major, that I've seen since the Great Khali had the World Heavyweight.
Oof, that's tough.
I'd take
it's that.
Even Jinder Mahal's WWE title run was interesting, more interesting than this.
It was much more interesting.
Yeah,
He defends the U.S. title against Jay. Name me 3 other Austin Theory title defenses.
Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and John Cena. That it kind of counts, but not really. Like
No.
I could those are all less than 2 months old. Like
I'd just much rather watch like maybe a 24-hour compilation of 205 Live's NXT's version of 205 Live than watch a single Austin Theory match at this point. Like,
okay, new pop quiz on Austin Theory. Name me one memorable moment from this current U.S. title reign, because at least in the Great Khali's case, I can distinctly remember him snatching the mic.
oh, I thought you were talking about him holding the World Heavyweight Championship upside down.
No, that's not his
that's
fault.
my memorable. No,
That's not his fault.
I mean, if we were to take he beat John Cena at WrestleMania side, I couldn't.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He wrestled like okay. He is a good wrestler. No one is taking that away from him. He is just the most unentertaining motherfucker on the show, in my opinion.
It's because his character sucks. That's really what it is. If he look, all right, I'm gonna say this last thing and then we gotta wrap this up. If you want to make people care about Austin Theory, this is what you do. You make him lose. You make him lose again. Then you make him lose the United States Championship. Then you Baron Corbin his ass for 4 months. And then you have the Way pick him up and put him back in the Way. That's how you make people care about Austin Theory.
And don't have a stupid character development story about how you're from frickin' Atlanta. No one, like...
Yeah. No one cares about that.
He is, us as wrestling fans, what Gen Z is to boomers. That is all.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
So mad.
Join us next week where we fantasy book men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing for next week's episode.
You know who's not going to be in any of those matches? Austin Theory.
Yeah, no, none of us put him in that.
I guarantee you these lists will shock some of you, appall others, and maybe even for one particular list, completely disengage your interest in wrestling ever again.
I don't know which list he's talking about, but if you want to know, feel free to join us next week. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Clayton. I've been Randy. And join us next week, and we will see you soon. Thanks, guys.
Cry. Talked about Austin Theory.
We talked about Austin Theory longer than he's been talked about in the writer's room.
All right, stop and record.
All right. Look. Come here. Closer. I didn't bring her up once. Don't. I didn't bring up Nia Jax one time during this episode. I need that to be acknowledged for a second here. And I probably won't bring her up next week either.